Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news, and what I would say is it's outrageous. The amount of things we need to get our teeth into tonight, you may as well call us Jaws and hit the theme tune, because I'm absolutely fed up of this. We've got disgraceful questions to Amorim about his formation again. Yes, we have freedom of speech, but we also have freedom of speech to respond to stupid questions, and we will do that. We've also got Steve from the 58 going on TalkSport today talking about these protests and being absolutely ambushed. Ambushed, I tell you. Disgraceful. I've got a big list of what Simon Jordan said. We'll call it out, because I tell you what, when I was on TalkSport for 2 years, I used to say, put me on a show with Simon Jordan. Put me on a show with Simon Jordan. Put me on a show with Simon Jordan. He always bottled it. And today, I'm outraged by what they did. They ambushed Steve from the 58 and started it off with, is it really that bad at Man United? Is it really that bad at Man United? You never stop talking about us, you prats. You're always sacking our manager twice a day. You know it's bad. You're hypocrites. You're getting called out. Also, Anthony's getting called out, blaming Amorim for 2.5 years of being absolutely terrible. We'll talk about that. And, of course, we've got no Agate. We've got no Harry Maguire for the game tomorrow. Time for people to step up. We'll get into all that. We've also got all the answers from the press conference, which De Ligt and Amorim did. But I'm telling you now, rub your hands together, get ready, because as Mike says, we're going to get him. We're going for him tonight. We're not pulling any punches. Absolutely outrageous. Some of the questions Amorim has faced again, and outrageous how Man United fans are being called out by the media as, what are you even complaining about? What are we complaining about? Our club's in the bloody mud. That's what we're complaining about. I'd love to see you call out the ultras from AC Milan. See what happens then, Simon. See what happens then. Right, but before we get into that, calm down, calm down. I'm not going to sleep, but I need to calm down for a moment just to collect my thoughts. Otherwise, I'll say something I regret. We are sponsored by Sleeper on the show today. Some of you should know what it's about. The fastest growing fantasy sports platform in the world. Sleep has been making big waves this season. It was even the top downloaded sports app in the US for the NFL season, overtaking giants like ESPN and Yahoo, and that just tells you how popular it's become. So what is it all about? Well, it's renowned for its offering around the best fantasy experience with deeper features and more customizations options than anywhere else. But it's basically a fantastic app where you can get all sorts of information. It gives you the ability to follow games as events unfold with breaking news, live updates, personalized to your team, and all the stats, reaction and emotion from football all around the world. You can track form, you can track injuries, individual player performances as soon as you open the app, plus share your opinion and chat with other fans. There's also tons of football videos to watch each week. All this plus the fantastic features you already know and love with Sleeper's Fantasy Draft and their prediction games too. So there is the fantasy draft idea, there is the games you can play there, but it's all up-to-date real stats on players, etc. Fantastic. Get involved with Sleeper. You're in control of what you see, what you watch, and what you play. And it's all free. So check it out. Link in the description. Scan the QR code. I think you're going to love it. I use it a lot. Hit the link in the description, and we'll see you there. Get interacting on Sleeper. Get your information on Sleeper. Don't go to sleep on Sleeper. Download it. Thank you very much to Sleeper. Okay, right, let's get into the show. Where are we going to start? Well, look, I'm going to be throwing more punches than Usyk here. It's really easy to just start somewhere and just get the tempo of the show flying up. I am going to pick apart some of the stuff Simon Jordan said in a moment or two, but basically some of the stuff he said, just to wind you up a little bit for when we go. Man United fans wanted Jim Radcliffe, so basically they're getting what they deserve. So Jim is just cleaning up, and the overstaffing needed to be reduced. 99% of fans don't even know what they're on about. Dividends have actually been swamped by the commercial value that the Glazers have brought in. And what do Manchester United fans want? Middle East owners and lose all their heritage? Yeah, don't worry. We will be going on. He also said the debt is insignificant compared to what Manchester United earn. So yeah, we will get into that. Did Steve have good answers? I think he did, but I just thought he was ambushed. I think when you go on a show like that and you're double teamed by Jim White and Simon Jordan, it was an absolute ambush. And look, we'll talk about that in a moment, but I want to talk about the press conference first of all. That's just food for thought. So, Ruben Amorim in a press conference today, just finished about half an hour ago. Get ready for this perler. Get ready. Can you guess what question I'm talking about here? I wonder if you figured this out. So, he's in a press conference ahead of Manchester United's biggest game of the season. You have a question to ask Ruben Amorim. You are being gifted an opportunity thousands of you would love. You could ask things about Luke Shaw's future. You could ask things about, the summer transfer window, the importance of the Europa League. All these questions could be asked. Guess what idiotic moron question he got asked? You've guessed it. You've guessed it. You've absolutely guessed it. When are you going to change your formation? Yeah, we are still asking a manager when he is going to change his formation. And I tell you what, that is the standard of British journalism in a sentence. Asking a manager that's never going to change his formation, when are you going to change your formation? Because you've heard Robbie Savage saying it on the radio, or Neville. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm going to break this down in the most simple way. We've tried the restaurant analogy. We've tried loads of analogies. Let's just do it like this. Ruben Amorim and the 3-4-3 has been with him since his birth of a manager. It is a child to him. It is his child. He took it as a baby and he's nurtured it. Let's pretend that child's called Johnny. The 3-4-3 is called Johnny. And Amorim, it is his child. Only an idiot would keep saying you need to change your child. Only an idiot would keep talking about when are you going to change your child. It's like knocking on the door and saying, Ruben, I've heard Johnny had a bad result in his spelling test. Fancy swapping him for Carol? I mean, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible that people think he's going to swap his formation. And what absolutely makes it even more stupid is, what is he changing his formation to? And how would it be received by these morons if he did? Oh, well, he can't be that confident in his system if he's changing it after 3 months. Why is he even Man United manager if he's changing his formation? Surely they brought him in because of his magic formation and he's changing it already. Well, he clearly isn't that good. Portuguese Southgate. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. It's an absolute trap, or it's absolute claptrap. It's idiotic. You cannot change the formation of a guy whose formation is what he is. It symbolises what he is, and that's why we brought him in. There's problems with it. We've got to fight our way through it, but he can't change it. And as I said before, what they want us to change to the 4-3-3 that we haven't even got the players to play it with. So it's just what a waste of a question. But look, enough of what I think. This is what Ruben Amorim said. Asked about the formation, he says, I think the system is not the problem. It's the way of playing. We've had a lot of problems and we're trying to work on the problems. Every system needs different characteristics. I'm still really confident I will not change that, my formation. Absolutely well done. I love this manager. I will always be fair, and if he says something I don't agree with, we can discuss it, but I back this manager, and 100% he must be bored shitless of answering the same question again and again and again. The definition of insanity is asking a stupid question again and again and again and expecting a different outcome. You absolute morons. Why do you keep doing it? There was no logic in the question 3 months ago, so why are you still doing it now? And the answer to the question is clear. And Amorim has given it you there. The problem is not the formation, it is the players in the formation and their limitations to do the basics, like pass the ball, pick up the runners, etc. These are basics that would still be there in the same formation. Casemiro in the midfield is going to still be too slow in a different formation. Yeah? Rasmus is still not going to be scoring goals in a different formation. We're still not going to have wingers in a different formation. This is the truth. This is not going to get solved by a change of formation. And if you want to go and play park the bus counter-attacking football, then we should have brought Ollie back and not let him go to Besiktas. Exactly. He was also asked about being a more attractive option if Man United win the Europa League. If we win the Europa League, we will be in an amazing position next season. That's a bit of a change of tact, isn't it, from Amorim? I think yesterday maybe what he was saying is that he doesn't want to... it's not the priority for the long term. It's a short-term target. In the long term, we need to be a better team. But I think getting that clarity that obviously we'd be in an amazing position if we win the Europa League is very, very important. And De Ligt was with him. Now, Ugarte did an interview somewhere saying we're not obligated to win the Europa League. I'll let him off because I don't know whether his grasp of the English language in relation to you know, I think with foreign players, especially when they're new at the club, I think we can always give them a bit of leeway, as we can a manager, in understanding, as we did with Ten Hag, the wording. But this is what De Ligt had to say on qualifying for the Champions League through winning the Europa League. That is the consequence if you win the tournament. That is our main goal. We need to take it game by game. And I like that. He was also asked about the season as a whole. He said we would have expected a little bit better than this at the moment. We know we've not been good enough and we try to improve things. It's also something in the end, a little bit to do with luck. We know we have to improve. And he said that we have encountered a lot of pressure and a lot of criticism. For me, it is not something different, as I've been at clubs where you are expected to win titles. You have to keep going. You have to work hard and you have to improve. And I think that's very important from De Ligt as well, because I know Beth spoke about it at lunchtime, but you've got Anthony's agent coming out at lunchtime saying things like, you know, how is Anthony meant to perform under Ruben Amorim when he's only been given a certain percentage of game time? And it's not about physicality. Maybe it's about the club. Maybe it's not the player's fault. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Listen to somebody like De Ligt. That's proper. Future captain, says Storm King. That's proper leadership. You know, we have been under pressure. We have had a lot of criticism. But I've been at clubs where you get that as well. Juventus, Bayern Munich. You will get that sort of pressure. I mean, the pressure you get at Real Madrid, they'll boo Casillas and Ronaldo. They're legends. So let's not pretend that we need to look at ourselves and go, as a fan base, we're too harsh on players who aren't good enough. We really should be applauding them. Absolutely not. There is a standard, and if you fall below it, get out. And I think that's the problem with Anthony, mate. He's had 2.5 years before Amorim even got here and consistently failed under a manager that basically made him what he is today. And you're going to ignore 2.5 years and focus on 2 months and try and say that Amorim's the reason that Anthony's failed at Manchester United. Maybe look at the last 2.5 years before Amorim got here. Amorim didn't buy him. Amorim doesn't need to use him. And actually, you know what? I'm sure he saw enough in training that he didn't want to give him many minutes. So why should he give him starting minutes? If Tarantino is doing a bloody film, I can't knock on the door and say, give me in the main role. I've got to do a rehearsal. And if it's shit, I don't get the role. So why should Anthony be judged on minutes under Amorim? He clearly didn't cut it in training. And the reason he's cutting it at Betis is because he's got a point to prove in a lesser league, slower league, more suitable to him league. He's had his chance. He's had his chance. Simple as that. This was interesting from Amorim. I am going to get into the other stuff in a moment. Why didn't Man United select more young players in the Europa League? He says, I'm trying to... Because, again, our bench is going to be quite neglected. We'll have about 3 players less on the bench than we could do. So the question is, why not take people like Kone, etc.? He says, I'm trying to manage everything. It is a big step for them. I'm trying to think about every aspect. I'm not thinking about what it will look like with their friends and the media, says Amorim. Okay. And on the current squad and its future, he says, because we're out of the Cups, that could change a lot of things. Manchester United can have the goal to have the best players in the future. I understand that the Europa League can change things. On not picking Obi Martin and him not being part of the Europa League squad, he said it was a different context in that moment. It was completely different and we chose different players. I don't know when we picked the squad for the Europa League. Maybe somebody in the chat can say, but we messed up with that. We messed up with that one big time. You know, him not being in the squad looks ridiculous now. And I can't think of a time where you wouldn't have picked him. Captain Donut Boy says it would have been January. Yeah, I don't know that there was a time in January where you would go, we don't need Obi Martin. I suppose you look at Xerxes and Rasmus and think you've got enough. But we knew Anthony and Rashford were going. Obviously, Ahmad was one injury. I mean, I think we should have picked him. I think we should have picked him, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's, I don't think we've got a very big squad anyway, so I don't know why we didn't pick him. But look, it is what it is. We've got to move on, haven't we? No Amorim. Amorim has confirmed there'll be no Harry Maguire and no Ugarte tomorrow. So he says we've got to be very careful. They cannot play the game. I would say that must be a real concern, because if they play against Arsenal doesn't matter. So this has obviously come too soon for them to play, because we need them for the second leg, but the game could be over in the first leg. I mean, look at PSV and Arsenal yesterday. If it goes wrong tomorrow, it could be over. So yeah, let's keep Maguire and Ugarte back for the second leg, but I'd have been very much trying to play them tomorrow because it's so important and you don't want to lose the tie. But they've obviously injured, and that's another 2 injuries, isn't it? And I was thinking about it today. You've got Luke Shaw, you've got Mason Mount, you've got Ahmad, you've got Martinez, you've got Collier, you've got Mainu, you've got Ugarte, you've got Harry Maguire. I mean, that's a lot of players again, isn't it? And I think the injuries have sneaked up on us. I think some people say, oh, the injuries, they're not that bad this year. They are. They're still as bad. They are really bad. And, that's a concern. And I know Collier's back now, Shah, but is he really match fit? Just in relation to the Ugarte thing, I've criticised Bruno. I don't apologise for it because if anybody wants to have a debate about Bruno, they know where I am. I know where I've been on this channel for the last few years, and Bruno Fernandes was a player I was obsessed about. We can all remember the Mallorca video where we didn't buy him in that summer and the boat was sinking behind me, and I said, there goes Bruno, symbolically. Then we bought him in the January. He was bloody brilliant. Always been one of my favourite players. Really, really like Bruno, but I don't do Player FC, and I think at times over the last year, he has been frustrating. Now is the time for Bruno Fernandes to shut people up. Myself, Roy Keane, myself, every other critic. Now is the time for Bruno Fernandes because we bloody well need him. And if you're somebody that doesn't like Bruno Fernandes to the extent that you just don't want him to do well, I don't relate to that. I'm somebody that can be critical of a player, but I bloody want them to prove me wrong. And look, Bruno has been better in the last couple of games. I don't think the few weeks before that, he can be a player where stats are deceiving. He can get a goal, he can get an assist, and overall his game's not that good. We need him. We need him to step up. I'm hoping that what we've seen in the last couple of games is going to continue because with no Ugarte in that midfield, Bruno's got to try and run this game as a leader and with the ball. We need a disciplined Bruno Fernandes, and my eyes are on him tomorrow. I think that I think he's so important for us, and I think that what Doddy says about, or was it Dooley? Sorry, my eyes aren't great. Dorgu can play. I think tomorrow, no Maguire, so you put Mazraoui, De Ligt, and Yoro as your 3. You put Dalot and Dorgu as your wide players. You stick Casemiro in front of your 3. You say sit there, don't go anywhere. You put Bruno next to him as well. And then you say to Dalot and Dorgu, your wingers for tonight, you are the attack. You've got to be part of the attack. You've got to be up the pitch. Don't worry about what's going on behind you. We've got 3 centre-backs and 2 holders. But you two have got to be our wingers. You've got to be wingers for us today. It's really important. Usually once the transfer windows ends, says Perk, Manchester United are not 3-4-3 and never will be, says Constantine. Well, we won't be if we don't shut up about it because we bought a manager in who is a 3-4-3 manager, so we need to go with that. What if Amorim isn't right, says Andrew. About what? I don't know. Yeah, so that was basically the stuff from the press conference coming in there. But look, I'm not going to mess about around this next bit. I was absolutely disgusted with what I saw this morning. There are so much hard work goes into organising these protests, and so much passion, blood, sweat, and tears goes into supporting this football club. And I think at the moment, the vast majority of Man United fans are angry, disappointed, lost, disillusioned, and fed up. And some of those words mean the same thing. So they're double fed up. I got sent this afternoon. I didn't even know it would happen. It happened because I don't listen to talk shit and I don't really want to, for my own personal reasons. I know how they work. I know what they do, and they're not sincere in my opinion. I think that they are all about clicks. I think they are all about using this football club, and I think they just make up stories and fake reactions just to lure you in. So when I got sent the clip today that they'd invited Steve from the 58, the spokesman for the 58, on, I watched it because I was like, well, this is an opportunity for the biggest sports national radio station in the UK to give the fans a little bit of exposure. And it started off with, from Jim White, is it really that bad under the Glazers? And I felt like slamming my pen down and going, you what? You what? I've still got my hand in my hand, the pen in my hand, but I'll slam it down. I went, you what? Is it really that bad at Man United? Okay, I did a Talk Sport show for 2 years on a Saturday night and regularly spoke in depth about what the problem is with the Glazers. Numerous producers at Talk Sport used to do my Saturday night show. You never knew who you were going to get. So they all know through listening what the problems are at Man United. And to start it off with, is it really that bad? I thought, I know where they're going with this. This Steve is walking into an ambush. I've had it happen to me at that station before. He's walking into an ambush where they're going to try and make him look an idiot. And that's what they did. They loaded it up, they brought him on, and then Simon Jordan sat there and basically said, the debt isn't insignificant. The debt isn't that significant compared to the revenue of the club. He said that fans wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and now you don't. He said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is just cleaning things up at the club, and offloading staff is what's required. He said that 99% of fans don't know what they're on about when it comes to running a football club. He said that the dividends that the Glazers have taken out have been swamped by the commercial value that they've brought to the club. And he said that what is it that Man United fans want? A Middle East owner, and they can lose all of their heritage. I mean, you're bordering on a lot of isms in there, aren't you? But let's deal with it one by one, because I felt really pissed off. And I don't think Steve from the 58 did a bad job. I just think he walked into a situation where probably wasn't expecting they were absolutely going to go at him. And it didn't matter what he said. Simon Jordan had swallowed his dictionary, and the story was going to be Man United fans protesting are idiots. And that was the story that was decided. And I know how it works there, and that's what's made me angry. I don't think Steve did a bad job. And I know that Simon and Jim have got wages to pay. This will have been planned. But what really annoyed me about it is that this is really important to lots and lots of people. And to get somebody on for something really important and go at it with the intention of ridiculing it, in my opinion, is a bloody disgrace. And it just verifies what a lot of people said to me when I said I was going to do a show on there. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Manchester United fans are under immense pressure, mental health, the lot, from the way our football club is being run. And to have all that listed against us and basically say, what you're moaning for, you can't make any change, just get on with it, is disgusting. What I would like to have seen is Man United fans are protesting at the weekend. This is the biggest club in England. The fans aren't happy, Simon. They've got the right to protest and they've got really good reasons to do it. And then, at least give it the one side give it at least a 50-50. It was basically came across as United fans are idiots. And let's just go through, because I'm not just going to sit here and go, it's not fair that they didn't give us a fair shout, right? I said at the start of this video, and I said it consistently, when I was at TalkSport, I constantly said, get me on the breakfast show, get me on the Simon Jordan show. I'd love to do it. I think people would be interested in it. I'd love to do it. The answer was always no, no, no. And it got to the point I said, why? He doesn't want to do it. And I'm like, so he wants to cast opinion on everything. He wants to slag me off on the show and call me a bedroom blogger, but won't give me the opportunity to go head to head with him. No, he won't do it. He won't do it. But he's more than happy to get Steve from the 58 on and absolutely bury him in an ambush. So, you know what? Cowards. Coward sport. It's a joke. This is so, so important. And these are the things that I would say to that if I'd have been on it, off the top of my head. So let's start off with, do Man United fans want Middle East owners and they can lose all their heritage? Hold on a minute, Simon. We lost our heritage when American owners took our club on debt, not a pound of their own money. On debt, American owners took this football club, put it straight into debt, which it wasn't in, hundreds of millions of pounds of debt, used the revenue from the club to pay that debt, let Old Trafford let Old Trafford rust and rot in front of our eyes, and took money out that they never put in. So you talk about heritage. What's the last 20 years then? I don't care what somebody's passport says, whether it's from the Middle East or it's from the United States of America. We lost our heritage in 2005, mate, when the Glazers took it. So don't know what you're talking about. If we got bought by a Middle Eastern owner, we'd lose our heritage. We've already bloody lost it. So what are we talking about? What's bad about the Middle East and not bad about the Glazers? So that's bullshit for a start. Second thing, the dividends have swamped the commercial value that the Glazers have brought to the club. Correct me if I'm wrong. Man United won the treble in 1999. Correct me if I'm wrong. Man United released the DVD in 2000, because I got it for Christmas, of The Promised Land. Now, I don't even know what I was bloody watching, because when I got it, I thought it was going to be like a season review. And I'm sure some of you out there remembered it. It was called The Promised Land. I got it for Christmas in 2000, and it was basically just an hour of pro Vodafone commercial for Manchester United. We were already commercially viable before the Glazers came in. All the Glazers did is come in and ramp it up. We were already pulling in loads of money, and we were doing it without being in debt, and we were renewing the stadium every 2 or 3 years, and it all stopped in 2005. So that's a load of bollocks. 99% of fans don't know what they're talking about when it comes to running a football club. Well, I tell you what, we must be in the same percentage of Sir Jim Radcliffe and the Glazers then, eh? So maybe we want something better. Maybe we want the 1% who do know what they're doing, because we're all in the 99% club. Also, Sir Jim is cleaning it up. The overstaffing needed to be resolved. Myth, mate. You swallow a dictionary, you don't even do your own bloody research. We had 1,100 members of staff. It's now coming down to 500, which is apparently in tune with Man City, who can't buy fans. Liverpool have got 1,000. How many employees have Real Madrid and Barcelona got? So do your bloody research before you say that it was a good idea to half cut our working force, because there's a myth going on around about that, and you should do your bloody research, because Liverpool have got 1,000 people that they employ, and I would say we're closer to Liverpool than we are Man City. We wanted Sir Jim Radcliffe, and now we don't. We didn't want Sir Jim Radcliffe. Some people did want Sir Jim Radcliffe. We didn't want Sir Jim Radcliffe. Some of us didn't want Ineos. And to be honest with you, I don't think anybody wanted Sir Jim Radcliffe to rescue the Glazers. So again, do your bloody research before you start publicly saying that Manchester United fans wanted Sir Jim Radcliffe. We didn't want Sir Jim Radcliffe to get into bed with the Glazers. Some people wanted Ineos to buy the club over Qatar. I'll admit that. It wasn't me, but some people did. But I will defend those people, because I don't remember anybody going, we want Ineos to save the Glazers. Everybody wanted the debt gone and the Glazers out and a full sale. Everybody wanted a full sale. It just depended which person you wanted to win. Nobody wanted this scenario. So I think that, and to say that the debt isn't significant compared to the revenue of Manchester United, of course it's bloody significant. The Glazers don't put any money in. We are bottom of the league in the Premier League for owners that put money into the club. And yet we're top of the league for money that goes out on debt and dividends. That's significant, mate. So that to me today was an absolute shower of shit on a national radio station, belittling Man United fans' issues with the football club, but also a list of shit that wasn't even true, that's not even accurate. So, you know, all I've got to say is it's a bloody disgrace, and that is something that some of you lot call into and listen to. I'm out. That ain't bloody journalism. That ain't a national TV station. That is propaganda FC. And as I said, when I was on there for 2 years, I used to say, put me on that show, and they'd never do it. And I feel sorry for Steve today, because maybe he doesn't know how Talk Sport works, but that was a bloody ambush. And if you don't expect to get ambushed, you get ambushed. And it was complete and utter shit. And the list of stuff that they went at hadn't even researched. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Mark, one of my favourite quotes is, the no amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot, says Louis. Great point. Michael says, I have supported United for over 45 years. Things have never been quite like they are now. And you have a right to be angry, Mark. I am too. But I haven't always known as much as I do now with the United stand, so thank you to all the teams, says Michael. Well, thank you very much for your support. Look, I know, bottom line, I got sent some stuff yesterday. There's people out there that don't like the United stand. There's people out there that don't like the 58. There's people out there that don't like the Man United Supporters Trust or certain websites or other YouTube channels. I get that. But I don't know why people are trying to do all that at the moment. I got sent a tweet yesterday. It had 1,000 retweets slagging me off. And I'm like, I respect the fact that people might not like what I do or what I say or my opinions. I get that. It's fine. Trust me, I'm not that bothered. But why are you doing it at a time where it's one goal? One goal. You can go back to all that later. What are you talking about? One goal. And when I saw that video today, I don't even know that, Steve. And to be honest, the 58 have got us blocked. But they've sent us the press release about what they did yesterday. And that's a step forward. We don't have to get on. We don't have to like each other. Obviously, it'd be great if we did, but you don't have to. It's all about what's going on, the Glazers, and what they're doing to this club. And I don't understand why people get derailed by it. I really don't. You know, I'll do this video tonight. We'll have spoken about that TalkSport thing, what a disgrace it was on everybody. Somebody will talk about, did you see what he said about a guy? You know, and that'll be it. And it amazes me how... Look, honestly, I'll word this in the right way. People have sent me stuff over the last couple of days of certain big accounts on Twitter who slag us off all the time, who haven't said one thing about the protests or the Glazers at all in the last week. And yet they never stop tweeting about other stuff or, you know, and that to me is disgusting because I don't understand how any genuine Manchester United fan would not say something about this because it's so important. And how could you be sat there going, it's fine, it's fine. I don't get that. But look, each their own, freedom of speech. But we cannot allow mainstream outlets to propaganda spin this, that United fans, why are they doing it? Why are they doing it? What's, you know, is it really that bad? Mate, is it not that? Is it really that bad? We're in huge debt. We've got no money to spend. We're 14th in the league, and our only hope is winning the Europa League. That's pretty bad. I don't think it's ever been this bad in the Premier League, actually, unless somebody tells me wrong, differently. What are your expectations for next season, Mark? Says Callum. Ask me at the end of the May, mate. I mean, if we win the Europa League, as Amorim said, it would really help us out. If we don't win it, I can't even predict how bad things might get. The problem we've got is that when I'm on That's Football, which I am on for the Liverpool game in about 15 minutes, when I'm on That's Football, watching football, I honestly say this is the greatest season we've had in the Premier League. It's so competitive. But when I'm on United Stand, honestly, can we go back to when there was only 4 or 5 good teams in the league and everyone else was shit? Because we'd probably be, hopefully, in the 4 or 5. It's so competitive now. And that doesn't help us because we're not competitive. Jackie Boy says, here's a question for Simon Jordan. What do you know about running a club? Nothing. And when you tried, you put it into administration. Mic drop. Thank you, Jackie. Real Madrid have over 6,000 staff. Plonkers, says Michael. But this is what I mean. It's like the formation thing, isn't it? Why are morons allowed to spout the same old thing again and again and again and again? Why would Amorim change his formation when he's all about that formation? And why do people keep going on about, well, Man United are right to sack half their workforce. Around 500 staff is about right because that's what Man City do. Why have you got your hand up? It's the voice of reason. Man City are a small club in relation to fans and everything like that. We all take the piss out of them. And plus, it's Man City. They might be paying people a different way. You never know. But Liverpool have got 1,000 staff. So why are we going down to 600 when Liverpool have got 1,000? Liverpool are meant to be our rivals. But no, people don't want to talk about that. Thank you to Michael Doherty. Mark, one of my favourite quotes. We've done that from Louis. I know this sounds bad, but I'd rather we did not win our next game in the Prem. I want to get relegated and it might just get them to sell up. I don't think they will. Tiptoe says, I don't mean to be a pain, but you missed my super chat. No, I didn't. I've just read it. sometimes don't read them as they come in. Sir Alex Ferguson would be crucified in this day and age, says Ray S. Is Mainu deserved to get raised like Shaw and Mount, says John. I think we spoke about Mainu last night, didn't we? And I don't really think that... I thank you for that. Again, somebody sent me, I think it was TR who sent me this as well, but I'm just going to say it because I get so many messages from the community. It's fantastic. Thanks to everyone who's listening to us on the Spotify now, by the way. You can re-listen to the morning show if you've not listened to it on there. Got this message about Mainu. I'll throw it into you because I haven't even thought it through myself. Basically, they said one theory on the Mainu thing is you leak a high wage demand, knowing the club aren't going to pay it, which then, when United sell you, makes it look good for everybody. Because Man United can't pay the wage that you want, and then you leave, and then no one really can moan about you being forced out. So I don't know whether I've worded that correctly, but basically we're sort of going down the route of, why would this be leaked? Who does it benefit? Well, it benefits United if they want to sell him, but it also benefits Mainu if he was thinking, I don't want to be at this football club anymore, put a high wage demand in that they can't pay, and then they'll be forced to sell me and I won't get moaned at for it. I have to be fair and throw that. I don't believe that. I think Mainu wants to stay at Manchester United, and I think Man United are doing this to make it more palatable if they sell, because people will go, oh, we shouldn't pay him. But you've got to be fair that you can read things in different ways as well. Thank you very much to Tiptoe. John says Steve should have been more prepared. No disrespect, but he should have known what he was walking into. I don't know, John. I know we're all geniuses in hindsight. The reason I haven't said that is because I don't think that. I think look, I've been there. I've played the game. When you get phoned up by the runner or the producer saying, do you want to come on Talk Sport today and talk about the protests at the weekend? It's all nicey nice. Then they phone you up, they put you into a holding room, and like a Zoom call, you can see Jordan and Murphy and that lot chatting away, and the producer will be there off camera going, you'll be on in 5 minutes, mate. Just got to go to a news break. You'll be on in 5 minutes. But yeah, basically just want you to talk about what you're doing, and they're going to ask you questions about, just stuff like that, really. You've done it all before, and he'll be all relaxed. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Then you go on, boom. So it's not like he will have been prepped. It's not like he would have been told anything. They'd have been dead nice, really nice. Oh yeah, it's just going to be about this. I had it happen to me. I went on a morning show once, and it was a Bonglahor and Brazil, Alan Brazil and Gabby Bonglahor, and they asked me to go on, and we were going to talk about a United game, and yeah, waiting in the room. Yeah, just going to ask you a few questions about last night. You know what they're like, though. Might be a bit of banter in there, but nothing you can't handle, etc. And I went on it, and straight away it was like, so Mark Goldbridge is not your real name. What is it then? And it was like they were just genuinely trying to trip me up and trying to cause me issues. And I was like, I just water off a duck's back. I've been used to that sort of stuff. But if you're not, and you think you're going, look, at the end of the day, if you're part of that 58 group and you've got a massive protest at the weekend and TalkSport asks you to go on, you're not going to expect to be ridiculed and laughed at and put on the spot. You expect that you're going to go on a big radio station and be able to promote what you're doing. So, I don't know. Anyway, look, I've got to get over to That's Football. Fantastic show tonight. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of comments. And look, as I said before, I don't play that game anymore, and I'm not really interested in that game anymore. But I'd happily go on and put him in his place about everything he said on that show. Happily do it, because I was asking for that for 2 years and they bottled it. So I don't like it, the way Steve's gone in there, been ambushed and basically bullied and lied and ridiculed. And it's one of the reasons I didn't want to be there anymore, because it's just people in cosy positions. There's always two of them going in at one person, and then when you say to them, and it's like Goldstein as well, he shit himself. I went down into London, I was meant to go on his show Drive, and he panicked. He was like, I'm not doing it. So it didn't happen. But they're all fine when they're sat there with their mate and the microphone talking shit. But you know, that's the truth. We went through the truth. I'll see you on That's Football if you want to watch Liverpool against PSG. Could be a good game. Don't forget to check out Sleeper, and links in the description. It's a really good app, actually. Check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. And, of course, tomorrow is match day, and we need a bloody win. Come on, lad. They gave Steve a false sense of security and pulled the rug from under him. Horrible tactic, but it's effective, says Jackie. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Exactly, Jackie. Take care, everyone. I will see you over on That's Football if you're watching the match tonight. If not, we're back here at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Take care.